Hello students, welcome to the video class. In today's class, we will be learning about fiber to fabric. Dear students, you might have visited a cloth shop many a time and you might have noticed various fabrics such as bed sheets, blankets, curtains, tablecloths, towels, etc. And if you have observed it carefully, you might have identified that these fabrics are either made up of cotton, wool, or silk, or it can be made up of synthetic materials. We all know that there are variety in fabrics. Let us perform a simple activity to understand variety in fabrics. Visit a nearby tailoring shop, collect cuttings of fabrics left over after stitching. Feel and touch each piece of fabric and try to label some of the fabrics as cotton, silk, wool or synthetic. Based on the type of material you feel and you identify, try to label them and classify them among these different fabrics. Select a piece of cotton fabric that you have selected in the activity and try to find a loose thread or yarn at one of the edge and pull it out. If no loose yarns are visible, you can gently pull one out with a pin or a needle. We find that a fabric is made up of yarns arranged together. Try to take out a yarn from a piece of cotton fabric. Place this piece of yarn on the table. Now press one end of the yarn with your thumb. Scratch the other end of the yarn along its length with your nail. You can find that the yarn splits up into thin strands. These thin strands are nothing but fibers. Look at this image. Here, this is a piece of fabric. This fabric is made up of yarn. Look at the image here. I am moving the cursor. So these are yarn and these yarns are in turn made up of fibers. You need to do the simple activity. Take a piece of cloth, remove the yarn from the cloth and in turn try to remove the fibers from the yarn by the activity just now what we have discussed by pulling it out with the thumb. Dear children, we have learned that fabrics are made from yarns. Different fabric types are produced by different methods of joining the yarn together. Here you can easily identify it in this image. Yarns are made up of fibers from either natural or synthetic source. They are interlaced, interlooped or bonded together to make fabrics. Fibers are the raw materials used to make textile items. They are spun or twisted together to make yarn. So this is how we are converting fiber into fabric. Types of fibers. We can classify the fibers into two as natural fibers and synthetic fibers. Natural fibers can be again classified as plant fibers and animal fibers. Plant fibers example are cotton, jute, etc. Animal fibers example are silk, wool, etc. Let us learn about some plant fiber. Specifically, now let us learn in detail about cotton fiber, its processing. Dear students, can you identify what is this on the image? These are the wicks that are made for oil lamps. Have you ever tried to make this wicks? Yes. If you have tried to make this wicks, you might have seen that these wicks are made of cotton. Wicks are made by using cotton. Cotton is also used for filling mattresses, quilts or pillows. Where does this cotton come from? It is grown in the fields. Cotton plants are usually grown at places having black soil and warm climate. The fruits of cotton balls, the fruits of this cotton plants, which are commonly called as cotton balls, as you can see in this image, are about the size of a lemon. After maturing, the balls burst open and the seeds covered with cotton fibers can be seen. Have you ever seen a cotton field that is ready for picking? It looks like a field covered with snow. From these balls, cotton is usually picked by hands. Look at this given image here. Here the people are picking cotton by hands. Fibers are then separated from the seeds by combing. This process is called ginning of cotton. Ginning was traditionally done by hand. These days, machines are also used for ginning. To make fabrics, all these fibers are first converted into yarn. Have you ever thought of how it is done? You can also try to make cotton yarn yourself. Look at this image. Hold some cotton wool in your hand. Pinch some cotton between thumb and forefinger of the other hand, as you can see here. Now gently start pulling out the cotton. While you are pulling the cotton, you need to continuously twist the fibers as it is shown in the image here. The process of making yarn from fiber is called spinning. In this process, fibers from a mass of cotton are drawn out and twisted. This brings the fiber together to form a yarn. And here is an image of a simple device used for spinning. And it is a hand spindle. It is also called takli. Another hand operated device used for spinning is Charkha. You all know that use of Charkha was popularized by Mahatma Gandhi as part of independence movement. Mahatma Gandhi encouraged people to wear cloths made of homespun yarn termed as khadi and shun imported cloth made in the mills of Britain. To popularize and promote khadi, the government of India constituted a body called Khadi and Village Industries Commission in 1956. Spinning of yarn on a large scale is done with the help of spinning machines also. After spinning, yarns are used for making fabrics. Dear student, as cotton is processed and converted into fabric, in the same way there is another one natural fiber, that is jute. Jute is obtained from the stem of jute plant. In India, jute is grown in West Bengal, Bihar and Assam. When the jute plant is at its flowering stage, it is harvested. Then the stem of such harvested plant are immersed in water for a few days so that they rot. The fibers are then separated from the stem by hand. These fibers are converted into yarn by spinning and then is used as fabric. You can see the image here. This is how we make the use of jute yarn here. The example of jute yarn and the bag that is made up of jute fiber, jute fabric, jute yarn. Jute yarn are weaved together to make the jute bag. Yarn to fabric. Dear students, Till now we have learned how yarns are made. Now let us move further and understand how yarn is converted to fabric. First, fiber is obtained from the plant, from the cotton balls, and these cotton balls, the fiber from the cotton balls by the process called ginning and spinning is converted into yarn. Now let us learn how yarn is converted to fabric. There are many ways by which fabrics are made from yarn. The two main processes are weaving and knitting. Let us understand what is weaving. The process of arranging two sets of yarns together to make a fabric is called weaving. Yarn is woven to make a fabric by using looms. There are two types of looms, hand looms and power looms. Here you can see it in the image. A loom that is worked by hand is called hand loom. This is the hand loom. And a loom that works on electric power is called a power loom. So here weaving is by the process called weaving, yarn is woven into fabric. Now here is a simple activity. You can also make a simple weaving project. So here is how you can start doing weaving on your own using simple materials. Let us learn and understand. For weaving, you need this weaving frame and woolen, scissor and needle. And the thread, cotton thread. You can take any thread. Specifically, you can go for cotton. So like this, there is a frame and here you need to tie a knot with the help of thread, yarn that you have taken. And you need to construct the frame like this, as you can see in this image. And finally, after overall construction, you need to cut the extra thread. And it looks like this, and here alternate threads should be given a frame with the help of a stripe of paper, and you need to take the thread with the help of needle. You need to insert the thread into this frame, and finally you can make a beautiful fabric, decorative fabric like this. Try doing this activity at home with the help of your parents. The next process is knitting. We all know that knitting is a method by which yarn is manipulated to create a textile or fabric. It is used in many types of garments. Have you ever wondered what materials people used in ancient times for clothes? It appears that in those times, people used bark and big leaves of trees or animal skins and furs to cover themselves. After people began to settle in agricultural communities, they learned to weave twigs and grass into mats and baskets. Vines, animal fleece, or hair were twisted together into long strands. These were woven into fabrics. The early Indians wore fabrics made out of cotton that grew in the regions near the river Ganga. Flax is also a plant that gives natural fibers. In ancient Egypt, cotton as well as flax were cultivated near the river Nile and were used for making fabrics. Look at this given image, how man improved in the usage of fabric. First, he used to cover his body using twigs and leaves. Then he started wrapping his body by using animal skin. And finally, when with the invention of needles and sewing machines, he started using the fabric. Many different ways of draping fabrics were used. With the invention of sewing needles, people started stitching fabrics to make clothes. Stitched cloths have gone through many variations since this invention. But is it not amazing that even today, sari, Dhoti, lungi, or turban is used as an unstitched piece of fabric. Just as there is a large variety in food eaten all over the country, large variety exists also in fabrics and clothing items. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.